What is a reason you are glad to be single? On a day-to-day basis, I struggle less with feelings of guilt. There are things one misses out on by not being in a relationship. But not beating yourself up over a snappish reply or a thoughtless gesture towards someone you care about are not among them. This is honestly such a good point. I feel like many of these replies are focusing on negative aspects of one's prior partners, or essentially boiled down to being generally introverted/independent, perhaps lacking a bit of self-perspective and introspection, i.e. nobody's perfect. Not meaning to invalidate anyone's experiences, some of these horror stories are abusive piece of shit exes, and I feel for everyone who went through that. Obviously no one's perfect doesn't apply to that kind of thing. Just that it's difficult to be 100% on the ball with a partner all the time, and falling short of that in minor ways like you said, such as being snappish, can definitely lead to guilt and beating yourself up over things. It's a valid perspective, and I appreciate you raising the point. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want without checking in with anyone. Also, no woman should have to be subjected to my toxic family. You shouldn't be subjected to your toxic family either. I shouldn't, but I don't have much of a choice right now. The only things stressing me are my own stresses. I don't have to help support someone else through this. Interestingly enough, I always hoped I could be the person someone would come to after a bad day. I also hated feeling helplessly unable to cheer my ex up when they had a bad day and I couldn't go see them. There was nothing I could say or do, as simple as listening, or just being present, that seemed to relieve my ex's bad days. She cheated on me, but I did love her. I hope she is doing well and happy. Mother, be honest, the cheating part kind of fucked me up. 5 years later I have no desire or interest to date someone seriously. The pain and embarrassment wasn't worth it, and I'm totally happy and successful by myself. I feel like dating someone only leaves potential to take that from me. Not much they could add to my current situation. Maybe in a few years, when my friends start having kids. Who knows? Christmas is coming, and I have no stress and it's not expensive. Agreed. On top of loving that I can live alone. I just bought a house that needs furnished. So aside from the parent/sibling secret Santa, my money is mine to buy what I need and also share what I don't for a good cause. Donating to my local animal shelter this year. I'm naturally very empathetic and a people pleaser. It's a part of my brain that goes into hyperdrive when I'm with someone I like. It's not even conscious most of the time, but it can be exhausting. It's nice that my brain can turn that part off when I'm alone. Also, I can wake up and go to sleep at any time I want without messing up my sleeping patterns and middle of the bed and not needing to check in with his plans. I'm a burnt out people pleaser. I'm learning how to put myself first and not just do everything I can to make everyone else happy. Same here. Good luck. It feels odd, but I've almost tried being kind of an asshole. Like doing things I think are selfish, but in reality I have every reasonable right to do. For example, saying no if a friend asks for help with homework and I'm too busy with my own to do it. I sometimes still feel bad, but also don't like being taken advantage of. So if you can get over the manufactured guilt like this, you should be good. Good luck. I can sleep in the middle of the bed with the fan on if I want. I can also leave something on the table and come back 2 weeks later and it is still there. I could not say better. No longer being forced to hang out with their friends, especially when the friends are one-dimensional pretentious turnips. It's a sad tomato. I can do whatever I want and not feel guilty about spending time with no one. This was my exact thought. Do what I want, whenever I want, as a married man with kids. This is probably what I miss the most, especially kids, man. It's one thing to have a partner around, to have to get permission from to do things. But kids is a whole different story. No matter what I want to do tonight, my kid is going to wake up at 7 AM. Needs to be changed, fed, etc. Fucking freedom. I love the single life. Learn to love myself without needing anyone else's words of affirmation. After being single for the first time in a few years, I've been trying to work on this after being dumped 6 months ago, but haven't had much luck yet. Any tips? Edit. Wow. I was not expecting this kind of response. Thank you all so much for your advice and words of encouragement. Give it more time. Make an effort to find positive hobbies/adventures/things that you really enjoy and spend time at them. A happier you heals faster. Recognize what is really missing and find alternatives to fill those voids. Help others anonymously if you can. Could be as simple as holding the door for someone, volunteering, or helping to pay if you see someone short a few bucks. I do all of this because I enjoy helping people. I never have any expectations in return, nor do I want recognition. I feel better about myself knowing I made someone's day a little better. I'm not a huge fan of the single life, but in the past, when I've been in a relationship, I always felt like I needed to check my phone 24/7. I like being able to just chill and play video games, watch a movie, hang with friends without checking my phone consistently. I agree. I texted with my ex way too much. I wish we had just FaceTime to talk instead. Even better, hung out in person much more. I definitely think this changes with age. When I was younger there was definitely pressure to answer texts immediately in relationships, but as I have gotten older people don't seem to expect it as much anymore due to jobs or other responsibilities going on in their lives. In learning to navigate the world through the lens of my own needs and desires without worrying how I'm being perceived by a partner, I do not believe I will be a good person to be in a relationship until I can do that, so I'm happy to struggle with it. Also, I really love dancing poorly to LCD sound system while my dog watches with fear and judgment in his eyes. Not that I couldn't do that before. It's just so free to do it in my own apartment alone. Edit. Thank you all for your funny, kind, and thoughtful replies. I love Reddit because of this kind of thing. Also, I know, but thanks for the awards. It's so sweet and made me feel better about the fact that I dance like a dumb butt alone. I was engaged, but broke it off in July after putting up with a lot of disrespect from him and his family. I had quite a bit of money saved aside for our wedding, but now I can spend it on things I've wanted for a very long time. I'm finally taking care of myself and learning more about who I'm as an individual instead of being someone's fianc. Kudos to you for seeing it for what it was and not going ahead with the wedding hoping things would change after you got married. I fell for that one. I'm sorry that you fell for it and for everything you must have been through. It's not an easy situation to be in, that's for sure. Personally, breaking it off was the hardest decision I've had to make, but I knew deep down it wouldn't change. I was cheated on. His family, especially his father, would make nasty comments about my body and my personality and things I'm passionate about. And there was just a lot of bad things I knew I wouldn't be able to handle long term. So it was a painful decision, but ultimately for the best, I suppose. As someone who got out of a 3-year-long relationship about 4 months ago, I would say one of the biggest thing I'm glad about being single is being able to see myself clearly again. You don't realize how much being in a relationship can blind you to how you've changed, or how love can numb you to certain things. When I got out of that relationship, and once the initial crying and being depressed phase ended, I slowly realized how much happier I was and how much I've changed. Some of it good and some bad. But it was like being able to see myself through a clear lens and not through a distorted one. Edit. Didn't realize this would get any notice at all. Thank you to the kind stranger who gave me my first award. I was completely in love with a girl. Others around me told me to get out of the relationship because it wasn't healthy. On some level I understood what they were saying, but I was so blinded by my feelings that I let things go on a lot longer than I should have. You look back months after you walk away from that and realize you were kind of a dumbass. But feelings can do crazy things to you. I found my alt account lol. But seriously, I've been there. I was basically being gaslighted by her about me being too sensitive to her jokes. Really just insults disguised as jokes. And I didn't realize that until a couple of weeks afterwards. I was real stupid to think that my severe depression and anxiety was not at all caused by her treating me as someone without feelings and emotions. But hey, you live and learn. On the bright side, I now know what I don't want in a relationship lol. Because I'd rather be single than be with someone who doesn't appreciate my love and affection. I don't have to live in anxiety 24/7. My apartment is clean and neat, and most importantly, 95% empty. Edit. I didn't expect this many votes. No longer feel like I'm dragging a dead body behind me through life. Nothing is worse than having a lover who expects you to do all the hard work. Just divorced after 14 years. And this was why. She can shop like a boss though. Honestly, being single allowed me to put more focus on finishing my undergrad degree, which I just did this last week. Edit. This is the first time I've been awarded on Reddit. Thank you so much. I don't want to take into account someone else's wants and needs when making life decisions. I just graduated from college during COVID and am so lost, so I don't want to have a partner until I'm less lost. Graduated and fell in love this year. I can confirm that this is a genuine issue. This is also my first adult relationship. It's so much easier navigating through stages of our lives rife with uncertainty alone. My partner is still in college and I don't want to move far away from her. So one of my biggest challenges has been job applications. I'm not open to every opportunity as I would have if I wasn't in love. I have absolutely no regrets, but having a partner who becomes a priority in your life alters your initial plans. Edit. Thanks everyone for your input. I truly appreciate every comment/advice. A lot of you have spoken from experience, which makes it even more valuable. Like many have mentioned, if it's meant to be, it will. I moved to this country to complete my education and start/excel in my career. That's still the priority, and I do not intend to hinder myself. I hope it all works out. If the relationship is that new, do not let it dictate your future, especially if you are just starting your career. If it's meant to be, you will survive some time apart until they finish college. My husband and I finished college 2 years apart, so we had to live a few hours away while I worked. If I had stayed local to work, I would have hated it so much as I was so sick of my college town. But it was fine, because while I was work and he was studying, we would not have had much time together during weekdays anyway, as we would not have been living together anyway. No one can cheat on/abuse me. How much I don't like being around people. Spent many years letting partners treat me poorly because I didn't value myself, and it jumped from one to the next. I told myself in August 2019 I was going to do a 1-year break from dating. It's December and I've extended it because I'm so happy and I've started to appreciate my value. It's a dope feeling, and I recommend anyone who bases their value solely on others' treatment of them in romantic relationship to do the same. Sometimes I worry about being single. Then I remember my parents and how we've been at each other's throats for all my life. Dying alone then seems like a blessing. Not screaming at my partner all the time. No kids to traumatize with all the aforementioned screaming. Bless. This is so true, and I hope you're okay. Not having to deal with partners leaving you completely unfulfilled and always putting their bullshit above you. Not having to argue to exist in the ways you do because their insecurities and lack of self-worth smother your joy. Oof. I've dated a few of those. Have you also tried being friends afterward because you're mature and it fucks with you all over again? Because you thought they had changed, but you're having to relive the disappointment and feeling a lack of value in their life. I can do whatever I want whenever I want. If I want to stay up late, I can. If I want to go to sleep early, I can. If I want to sleep in, I can. If I want to wake up late, I can. If I want to buy that Xbox, PS, Nintendo, or upgrade my PC, I can. If I want to play video games, I can. If I want to watch a movie, I can. If I feel like watching TV, I can. If I feel like listening to music, I can. If I feel like reorganizing or redecorating my apartment, I can. If I want to go out to eat, I can. If I feel like cooking something at home, I can. I can choose how I use my time. I can choose how I spend my money. I can choose how I save my money. Do I feel lonely? I'll admit it. Sometimes I do. But I have good friends. If I feel like hanging out with my friends, if someone wants to hang out with me, I can. If I don't feel like going out, I can stay home. In like you, all of those points you made are heavenly. just scrolling through the comments in an effort to make myself feel better about going into this long dark COVID restricted winter as a single woman. I've had some really abusive relationships. Singleness equals safety. Despite the woeful lack of sex, being single means I get to spend my money on my own shit. Some marriages have a woeful lack of sex too. The number of married friends who have told me about their years-long dry spells is unexpectedly high. I can come home and unwind and not hear someone else tell me about their shitty day or remind me about the dishes in the sink or the laundry or the things we need to do or places we need to go. My life is stressful enough with just me and my job in it. Another person might drive me to king batshit right now, honestly. Man. My ex would call me every day after work and spend an entire hour telling me about her shitty day at work and just unload all of her feelings on me every day, which would be fine. But then when it was my time to talk about my day, she'd be uninterested and unsupportive. I brought it up one day and she says it's because I never talk about myself, which I do all the time to my friends. But to her, she never listened. So I got conditioned to not talk about anything not involving her because she would not care. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.